tomorrow's college football, including what are essentially free picks because we're using a system, all kinds of information. And again, you want free information like this each and every day, please, first of all, strongly consider subscribing. It's even more important to give us a like if you're watching on YouTube. That's going to tell YouTube to feature our content more often because it's valuable. And again, if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, please give us a rating and hopefully give us 5 stars and the hearts on Periscope. Wherever you're listening or watching this, please help us out and give us a like and a share and subscribe to us. And remember, we're on Twitter at Offshore Insider. No S at the end because of the character limitations, but our website is Offshore Insiders. All right. Saturday, look, I listen to VSiN. I think they have a couple good shows, especially the one in the late morning Eastern time, the numbers game, I guess it's called. What's the guy's anyway? But on there, I've heard them talk about the short road underdogs, that essentially that small underdogs do very well in college football. That's true, and I know the software they use. They use the BetLab software, which is very good. Not the best software out there, but fortunately we got some software that's a little bit more versatile. And I decided to run a couple combinations of that, and then I noticed that there are a few situations where I have systems that favor the home favorite. So I said, what happens when these clash? And a couple of those, the home favorite wins out. So if I eliminate those, it makes this system even stronger. So I've got my turbocharged version of the short road underdog, and the teams that it does favor this weekend, and haven't even checked today's cancellations, haven't gone to the sportsbook yet, but hopefully all these games, well, certainly most of them, hopefully all of them, are still being played. Bowling Green, UCLA, Ball State, Florida Atlantic, Nebraska, Memphis, and Western Kentucky. Now, maybe on VSiN, when the guy who does their technical stuff, he might give you slightly different teams, and that's because, as I said, this is a turbocharged version. I've strengthened it. This one's a little bit better version of the short road underdog. And by the way, why am I giving you this information for free? Because quite frankly, I've got some systems that are better and apply this weekend at Joe Duffy's Picks at offshoreinsiders.com. All right, my allergies, I'm trying to hold off a sneeze here. One of the better trends this weekend, Michigan has gone over 10-0-1 off of a home game in which they scored less than 27 points. Texas running back Ingram, he is transferring. Now, that's one of those that could sneak under the radar a little bit because he gives them some pretty good depth. Not a star player, but did have 250 yards rushing this year. Purdue quarterback Aiden O'Connell is done for the year. He had played pretty well. So, in the couple games that he had played, looks like he was going to be the number one quarterback for the rest of the year. Completed 64.7% of his passes, 921 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So he'll be taken over by Jack Plummer. So it looks like a little bit of a downgrade for Purdue. LSU, you may have noticed, not quite as good as they are last year. They've really struggled at quarterback. They're going to go with TJ Finley this year. Some of the 2 biggest consensus bets based on the percentage of bets this Saturday, 2 big name teams, biggest names teams, Alabama and Florida. As I said, they're far and away the 2 biggest public plays. And again, we explain it. Let me, recap. Those of you who've been with me for years, I always weigh the number of bets much more important than the amount of money, because the theory behind contrarian betting is we're fading Joey Bag of Donuts. It's a little bit more complex than that. But again, when it comes to contrarian stuff, the guy who is betting $10 5-team parlays, his bets are every bit as important, even more important for contrarian purposes than the high rollers bets are. And, I've told, stories more in depth why that is and whatnot. All right, the biggest lie, and again, there you go. Sorry about that sneeze. Yeah, not very professional. I got a nice microphone here. I guess I need to get a mixing board with a sneeze button. But anyway, some of the biggest line moves. Hawaii opened up at -6. They're now +2 to San Jose. Oklahoma -13.5. They're now -21.5 to Oklahoma. to Baylor. Wisconsin minus 10 to minus 14 to Indiana. Colorado minus 3.5 to minus 7.5 against Arizona. Now, the best teams to bet on this year, based on the sweat barometer, not just a mere ATS record, but the so-called sweat barometer, the margin of cover. Margin of cover is how much a team does or does not cover by. For example, if 7-point favorite, if they win by 10, their margin of cover was 3. The best teams to bet on, Coastal Carolina is 7-1-1 this year, covering by a nation's best 16.2 points per game. BYU, which quite ironic because BYU replacing Coastal Carolina or this weekend or replacing Liberty, but BYU is 6-2-1 at plus 12 points per game, and Indiana has the best record at 6-0, covering by an average of 11.6. The best teams to fade, the best teams to bet against, based on the same criterion, Kansas is 0-8, failing to cover by an average of 13.4 points per game. Penn State 1-5, minus 12.3. Michigan 1-5, minus 11.5 points per game. And Florida State minus 2.5, failing to cover by an average of 11.1 points per game. Another angle from our database. Big away favorites in triple revenge are 63-25. That favors Colorado, Texas A&M, and Tulsa this weekend. I'm going to give you a free pick. If you're watching this on Friday, I still get a free pick for Saturday night for Friday night college basketball, so stay tuned for that. Saturday, Mackey's Game of the Year and Fox Sports Saturday night Game of the Year with 30-11 with such name plays, 13 winners led by 6 wise guys. Sunday, NFL. NFL totals twosome of the year among 10 winners. 3 of them are wise guy plays, all Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com. All right, we do have a free pick for tonight, Friday night. And again, if you're watching this on Saturday, I guess you can tune out now because this game was already played. No, you want to find out maybe, did we win? Did we not win? Probably did cover. Toledo minus 2 against Eastern Michigan. One of our top projection models does 10,000 simulations and found Toledo covering at a 69% rate. Toledo balanced with 4 guys averaging double figures. This is the 5th game for Toledo, just the 2nd for Eastern Michigan. The whole uniqueness with it, COVID, but maybe not as common as you think. Teams with at least 4 games under their belt, playing teams with a maximum of 1 game under their belt, have covered at about 56% of the time. So Toledo college basketball Friday night is our free pick, but plenty of winners for Saturday and Sunday at offshoreinsiders.com.